What's going on, YouTube? Levi of Old Iron Offroad, and by the end of this episode, the Ultimate 800 crawler, body, axles, wheels and tires, suspension will all become one, and we're going to have a rolling chassis. Let's dig into it. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to pull this guy out of the shop, get it ready for sandblast, paint it with chassis saver. The tub has already actually been stripped underside already. We've already done the epoxy and just squirted some bed liner underneath it. So yeah, first things first, we're going to pull this guy out, get it all ready for sandblasting and make something happen. Hey, are you still watching this video? If you're watching this video at this point and you enjoy any of the fancy things that you see behind me, you should take 2 seconds. You should reach down there and hit the subscribe button. Make sure to like and comment. Really pushing hard to try to grow this channel, and I can't do it without you. We are at 4,500 subscribers roughly. I'm not really going to set goals, but ultimately, if we could get to 10,000 subscribers, I think that would be amazing. I appreciate all of you guys at home who have taken the time to watch these videos, watching and interacting with us online. And again, I'd like to really continue to grow this channel. So hit that subscribe button. Back to the video. So the weather is definitely not cooperating today. So I think we're going to come in here and try to get a few things done on this tub. So here you can see face is all bed lined and happy. We shot some Tamco DTA epoxy on the firewall and underneath. It actually cleaned up really well. I'm super happy with how well the tub itself cleaned up. So shot it with some Raptor liner. Gonna do some lizard skin and some other stuff on the inside. And I've actually already fogged the front floors with some Tamco epoxy. You can see in the back leaves a little bit to be desired. So since the weather's gross, I think we'll just basically get everything sanded, knocked down, try in these edges and these seams. I'm just going to blast and slather the insides of those with some rust neutralizer. Don't do this at home. This is by no means a proper how-to on this. It's a rock crawler. We don't care. If it doesn't blister the bed liner and holds up for 3 years, I'll be super happy because this truck's going to get the crap beat out of it anyway. So let's get into it. So that's a good once over with the 60 grit on the high-speed buffer. Like I said, that's a plastic wheel, and it's actually got 60 grit fiber bedded in it. They use it for prepping for bed liner. They're not great for really scuffing the surface, but they get into kind of those hard to reach areas. They're good for they're awesome for a once over on something like this. So I'm gonna dig in with some 60 grit on a DA. Get it all blown out, get the shot blown out, and then we're gonna blast some epoxy in this guy. So I've sanded until I don't want to sand anymore. I think the next step in the process is going to be to wipe this thing down with Prep-All wax and grease remover. I've also taken in some of the heavier rusted spots, sprayed some Loctite rust neutralizer converter on them. Again, don't do this at home. If you're trying to preserve something, don't just partially do it good enough and cover it up with bed liner, because I can promise you, you will have issues later. But for this project, it is a-okay. So again, wipe down with some wax and grease remover, and then we're gonna hit this with some Tamco DTA. DTA is their direct to anything, and the reason why I like using it is obviously you want to prep as good as you can. We don't do a lot of paint work here. Pretty much spraying epoxies and primers is really all we spray. And prepping for bedliner. My paint guy handles everything else, but the DTA is a really good quality epoxy, and they say that it will actually stick to unprepped glass. Now, that's not to suggest that you should skate out on prep work, but if it will stick that well to something that is unprepped, a little effort in my mind will go a long way with it. So, wipe down, hose it down, it'll be good. Well, we've got the chassis set up, we got our blaster set up, and as much as I would like to continue procrastinating on this project, nothing really left to do but to do it. Well, I didn't do much filming today. It was one of those days, but chassis is painted. Obviously it's dark. I'm done for the day. We'll see you tomorrow. Busy day, but we managed to get the chassis back in the shop before the torrential downpour. Managed to catch a little bit of it, but man, it's been raining on and off for 2 days. Humidity's ridiculous. Oh my goodness. But yeah, chassis is all in and shinied up. It's looking good. Better than the old rock crawler deserves. We're gonna tape this guy up. I'm actually gonna go through and tape all the holes up, and we're gonna hit this thing with some Eastwood internal frame coating. At that point, we should be pretty dangerously close to setting the body back on this thing. Let's get it. Oh man, it is a happy day here in the shop. We're back from Scout Nationals, working on a video for that. Probably will have it edited before you see this one. So if you're watching this one, make sure to go back and watch the other one. We did some filming on our trip to the Scout Nationals in Springfield, Ohio. So yeah, make sure you check that out if you want to see some other cool, clean internationals and us meander our way up through Kentucky and into Ohio. But anyway, so chassis is painted, looks pretty good, and now is my favorite part of any build is bolting shiny stuff back on a shiny chassis. So we're actually going to go ahead and get our air bumps charged, get our power steering gearbox on, get a few little things done on the chassis. We're going to change out some hardware. We've got some temp hardware, just kind of bolting the tranny cross member in and the shock brackets. But anyway, let's put some parts on this guy. So these coilover boxes have been taking up a ton of room in the shop as well. We've got the coilovers and we've got our springs also sitting over there. I'm gonna go ahead and take a few minutes and I'm actually gonna fully assemble the coilovers, get these boxes out of the shop, so that'll be one more portion of the shop that we can reclaim. And then it'll be time to put this guy on the chassis. So that took a little bit of doing. We had to be careful not to knock the chassis off the jack stands, and obviously we wanted to get everything centered, not bang on valve covers and all that stuff. We've actually got it sitting on jack stands and a block in the back. I'm going to slide the body bushings under this guy, and we will get the body completely dropped down on the chassis. Man, it is a balmy 90 degrees here in Tennessee, and I'm telling y'all, I ain't gonna make it. Ordered a mini split. We're gonna be putting that in the shop here in the next few days, so just gotta make it till then. I know that's gonna make me even softer than I already am, but whatever, it is what it is. So we threw some parts in the bed of the truck. I've got a truck that is back from paint for a third time. It's a long story, not my normal painter, but it is finally back for reassembly, so I can't be blasting spray bomb stuff around the shop. I've got about 5 cans of Steel-It with me. I'm heading over to my paint guys. We're gonna hang all of our links and our front tube work for the Ultimate 800, and we're gonna get all that stuff painted today. Let's go for it. So we're making moves, man. I'm gonna get a gantry over here, and I think the next logical step, we are gonna have to fully extend the suspension to get the coilovers mounted, because we do have 14-inch coilovers in the front and 16 inches going in the rear. So I'm gonna rig up the tube work or the chassis or something and just lift the whole front end up with a gantry and kind of get everything extended out. We're gonna mount some coilovers. So at this particular point in time, we've got it setting on the coilovers, and one thing that we're going to have to address is the fact that I'm nowhere near ride height. We're missing a lot of weight. I'm hoping that we're still close on our spring rates. If not, it's not a big deal. We can swap springs back and forth. But what I'm going to have to do in the meantime to get this thing set down at ride height is I'm actually going to have to take the upper spring off of every one of the shocks, basically let it just set on the crossover ring, get it down to ride height, and then at that point, as I'm building it, I can actually use my lower spring as a scale to give me a better idea what this thing is actually going to weigh. Then we can revisit the spring rate when we get closer to completing it. So I'm going to shut the camera off for now, get these springs pulled apart, get it setting on the lower spring. We'll catch back up with you in a minute. All right, so it's been a few days since we last filmed, and we managed to eke out some time to work on this guy. So previously I was going to remove the upper coil springs to get this guy at a more true ride height, which we actually had. You can see we're missing the upper coil there and the upper coil in the back. Today we are going to get this guy setting on its wheels and tires. You can see I took some time and mounted up a bead lock on one of the 40s. I was waiting on a couple of pieces to come in. I actually didn't have any spindle nuts for the front, and I really like the 14 bolt style spindle nuts. That's what I use front and rear. You've got the adjuster nut, you've got a piece of square stock, and you have a snap ring that locks onto the threads of the spindle. And so to continue on, the next thing that I need to do before we can put wheels and tires on this guy and put this video to bed is get the wheel bearings packed, brakes, hubs and rotors on the front, and we'll be in business. So I've only got one bead lock mounted right now. I've got another one sitting in the floor. I'm going to round up 2 more tires, 2 more bead locks out of the other shop, and get all the wheels and tires, or at least the main 4. I'm not going to mount the spare up yet. I'm going to get all the bead locks on there. And as I promised and hoped for, we're going to have this guy sitting on its wheels and tires by the end of this video. 4 bead locks mounted. And I don't know about you, but I know me personally, I'm super excited to get these wheels and tires mounted on this guy. I think most car guys, whatever you're into, whether it's cars, hot rods, 4-wheel drives, whatever, I think the moment that you mount the wheels and tires on the vehicle seem like a huge celebration. Even though in this case, we've got miles to go, but one step closer. Let's get these guys on the Scout. Well, there it is. It is officially a roller and it looks awesome. I'm super stoked with it. I actually measured the frame height and I was shooting for a 24-inch frame height, and this thing actually ended up at 25 inches, which is pretty good for a rig on 40s. It looks huge on camera, but I think with the 800s, same with Jeeps, you've got this area in the rocker that you've got to step over, and the frame is actually down below the edge of the rocker, so it just makes it look bigger than it really is. But again, a 25-inch belly height for a rig on 40s, I'm tickled with that. This thing's going to be awesome. We still got a ton of work to do on this thing. We've got a cage, we've got wiring, we've got fuel system, we've got a ton of other things to do. So make sure you are subscribed if you want to keep following along on this series. Make sure to check out our other builds. Again, this is not just a one-off video. We've done a whole build series on this. So if you've just happened onto this one, go back and check out the other ones. We appreciate you all at home taking the time to watch these videos. Like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, enjoy.